It's just like a feeling. I don't know how to explain it. You just have to do it, and if you skate, you know the feeling.
Expression, you know what I mean? Creativity. You know, that's basically what skateboarding is freedom of expression and creativity.
You learn so much from it, whether it's skateboarding or traveling or meeting different kinds of people.
The first time I learned how to like just stand on a roll, I mean, that just like, that was it, you know what I mean? Like, that was the beginning of an end.
I pretty much feel like I did when I first started every time I skate.
Traveling and hanging out with your friends and just feeling good about everything when you're going out, or when you land a trick, or when you learn a trick, or, you know, it's a mix of everything.
Start as a kid, you know, and you just get addicted to the fun and the adrenaline and the camaraderie between your friends.
That second I went to Del Mar Skate Park, I like realized like, this is what I want to be. This is who I am. Like I knew right then this was like my home.
Learning new tricks and traveling and making new friends.
Pretty exciting, pulling something new off and having your buddy there going, yeah, you did that, man, right on, which, you know, it's a good high.
The freedom to make up anything and do whatever you want to do.
I think the first time you get on a board, it does something to you, and you're like, it's like any addiction.
I was born into it, bro. It's in your blood or it's not.
O skate está na veia.
Skatopia is like the Disney World of anarchy skateboarding.
It's different than anything I've been to. I've been all over the place, but I'm sure there ain't nothing like this around.
I'd say like hillbilly anarchy. Really, to describe it, you really just got to show up and see it, you know?
I mean, we're in a small ass town, we ain't got nothing else but this. This is all we got.
It's broken off from the main faction, but yet it still is affiliated with a group, and that group is skateboarders that still want some freedom.
For the most part, anything goes. You shoot guns and jump your car and ride off-road vehicles, or turn your car into an off-road vehicle, or blow your car up, or light yourself on fire and and skateboard.
Well, at Skatopia, we have a plethora of obstacles. The first obstacle we built was the Epcot Bean, a 13-foot deep bowl inside of a 100-year-old barn. A lot of people have called it the Punisher because they've been punished in it quite a lot. The second obstacle that we've built is the King Dong ramp, which is a collage of other people's ramps that they were discarding from their yards, and we just salvaged it and put them all together and into a configuration that was acceptable and pleasurable to skate. After the King Dong ramp, the next thing that we built would be the full pipe, 40 foot long and 20 foot tall, skate light full pipe. That's perfect, it's fun to skate. Then after that we built the Church of Skating, which is the right-hand concrete kidney bowl in the big metal building. There's a lot of plans for that building still to come. After that we built the Lula Bowl, which is where we are now with the school bus and the cradle, and that's what we're working on at this juncture. We had a loose group of maybe like 20 guys that were involved in the project in the beginning. We called ourselves the CIA, the Citizens Instigating Anarchy. And our whole mission was to throw a wrench in the mainstream as much as possible. Skatopia started by accident, pretty much, as the fact that I got evicted from my house. And previous to that, I've been evicted from every house that ever built a ramp in my yard. And previous to that, I was encouraged to build ramps by my mom. So I always had skateboarding in my life, in my house, in my yard, sharing with my friends. So that was the beginning of it.
95, I came out here, and there was a skeleton of a frame of a ramp in the back and a sick bowl inside of a barn. And it took me for something I've never seen, and I've come from Virginia, and it's been the type of thing where if you wanted to skate, you're gonna build what you want to ride. And if you ain't gonna find it somewhere, you're gonna build it somewhere, and this is that somewhere.
I got evicted on October 20th, had 7 days to remove a 5,000 square foot ramp. On October 27th, the ramp was piled in my mom's yard, and on November 1st, a guy called me, which was my birthday, and a guy called me and said, I've got some land you could look at, and I thought it was rental property, if you want to check it out. So I came out and looked at it on my birthday, and I bought it 2 weeks later.
If a person needs help or something, usually we all help him out up here. All the locals come together. That's who built this. All the local kids around here didn't have no money, not to do. Bruce paid them all, gave them good money. Now we have Skatopia.
Just like hooks us up, like takes care of everybody pretty much around here. Lets you build shacks, live in it. As long as you help out. I mean, usually like, you know, during the week we just work like during the weekdays and just hang out and skate.
In order to come here and hang out, it's just understood that if we're not doing anything, skate, do what you're doing. But if we're in the middle of something, it's just expected that everyone pitches in.
It's just so crazy. I mean, people just show up out of nowhere, you know. People from all over the country, all over the world just pull up in the driveway at the parties. In one night, you'll see like over, I mean, I've seen like 400 or 500 people show up in one night before here. Raining like this, like bad weekend like this, and there's like 10 times as many people cars getting stuck everywhere.
They're calling for a little bit of rain tomorrow so that we might actually get what we're famous for, which is mud.
He wants a lot of people to show up and skate his ramps, and I want that too. All we want to do is pretty much provide an environment for young skaters and older skaters.
Clear trails with it, jump, raise hell, scare people, make chicks go crazy. That's where it all started, and wrecking a few and rolling a couple, and the next, and then it just became a tradition, going and buying junk cars and running them around the track as fast as we can, crashing them and then burning them. Everyone's gonna have fun. That's what this place is all about. It's all about, jumping over the edge, going for it once in a while.
I don't think he really expected Skatopia to get this big so quick. I mean, it's been 11 years, but this is in the middle of nowhere.
At the time, the Soviet Union, right, kind of the end of the Soviet era, really, there were deficits in every sense of the word, materials and finished goods, and most of the stores were empty. Food was being rationed, certainly meat and milk and dairy products, and the main staples. So finding skateboard equipment or even the materials to make boards or wheels or whatever was difficult at best.
It's possible to say that all Russian skateboarding was born in post-communist era after communism, because we don't have any boards. We have Soviet-made boards, but it was impossible to do on them all. They didn't have concave.
One thing about Russians that's very unique or very accentuated is their sense of, or their ability to adapt and to make do. When they get an inkling of how to do something, they'll figure out what they don't know, and through trial and error or whatever. And so with skateboarding, they knew they couldn't afford Western equipment. They couldn't really even access it very easily. So what equipment they could get, they sort of back-engineered and came up with ways to replicate it.
Some of the skaters' parents worked on the furniture factory in Moscow, and they started to do boards by their hands.
In 1992, I remember visiting a friend's shop in Moscow, a workshop it was, and where he had actually created a small skateboard factory in the back of an auto parts mechanic shop. He built a press out of I-beams, basically a frame with a piece that slid up in the middle, and then built a couple of molds and had car jacks that he would crank.
Also, there were one or two guys who made trucks by themselves. It was much more difficult because you have to get metal, you have to get aluminium, but with help of somebody's parents, I know, in some military factory, they were able to do some trucks.
With some epoxy and with this press, we're able to mold blanks, and then from that they would take a Western skateboard, modern shape, and place it over it and create a template. And they had templates of most of the main pro models at the time.
Yeah, I remember pretty clear. It was a blue board with a slick, heavy, very wide. But I didn't ride anything like it before, so I really enjoyed it.
From kids making their own stuff in their backyards or in these shops, they started bringing in stuff and selling it out of their house, out of their trunks. And now, since late 90s, there have been skate shops there now, full legit skate shops, a bunch of them in Moscow, a bunch in St. Petersburg, other cities as well. There's a full indoor skate park in Moscow. There's skateboarding all over the place. There's pros traveling there regularly to film and do demos and stuff. It's a full-fledged skate scene, and those kids are skating, as well or better than kids in the West. It's as modern a scene as anywhere. It's a big urban landscape with all kinds of terrain and stuff to ride, and kids who are just hungry for it. Kids who are just psyched and stoked to be skating.
I'm not too worried or anxious or have anxiety or anything about going to Russia. I mean, I'm more excited than anything.
When we got to the skate shop, every kid just screaming, yelling, they were all super excited.
Сегодня твоя машин команда в составе Билли Маркс, Диего Bucchieri, Джонни Лейтон и Джош Хармони.
Every time we go on a board trip, we want every demo to be the best demo, we want the kids to tell us that, we skated better than somebody else. Maybe you're never gonna be back there, so that's the only time, that's the only chance you have to do the trick. So it kind of helps you to try it and make it happen. The first spot we skated, it was just this huge museum. I don't know what it was, but it was it had cannons, it had this huge statues and monuments, and you're kind of afraid of skating.
You can go to a skate shop down the street and get bored, and you can start skating today. Maybe there it could be harsh, it might be hard to find a skateboard.
I think I get more anxious about the skating than I do about adapting to the culture.
When somebody tries to kick you out or tell you can't skate or something, kind of the rules don't apply because you're not from there, you don't understand what they're saying.
It was impossible to skate on such monuments at such places where it's possible to skate now because security guards were really strict.
Every building here in Moscow looks like it's coming from like a Star Wars movie or like a crazy like cartoon movie, you know? It's so big and it looks like Batman. Everything was so big in Russia, it was insane. It was every day we'll walk around and it would look like we're walking through this like movie set. Skate Alex took us to this spot. It was a gap to rail. He's like, yeah, no one ever skated, you know, like you guys should go there. It will be a good spot for you guys. 45 minutes later, Josh and Johnny and Bill destroyed it.
Good time with friends, you know, that's what it's all about.
I'm hurt, like just the feel of just wanting to just go skate down the street, like, you know, when you're hurt, you don't even, you start to appreciate those little things. Could be every day you're gonna find something new, some weird little corner, some weird little curve, some weird little hip, you know, anything, some buildings being built.
You get to present it any way you want it, and like you get to do it any way you want to and anywhere you want to.
It's funny because you run into older people who've skated for so long, just as long as I have or longer, or even the new kids, and you see that, you see the same kind of passion in the way they skate.
It's kind of weird. Like, I've never really been addicted to anything, but skateboarding, I could say that I am.
Grew up skateboarding in Brazil, and I had no idea that skateboarding would take me all around the world. And here I am, and now I live here, and I got a backyard ramp, and it's what I want to be doing for the rest of my life.
Another aspect that I love about street skating is, along with, what comes with the accessibility is the ability to just walk out your door and go skate and not really have a plan, like you're going to a certain spot or not. A lot of times I'll just say, you know what, I just want to be on my board and go cruise around.
All the old school banks and spots in Portland were getting closed down left and right. So it was kind of out of desperation. These guys built this place.
Skateboarders are tired of waiting around for the city to build something.
We weren't getting provided with what we wanted, and it seemed to be that there was money to be had at that time to build a public skate park, and it didn't really work out correctly.
No one ever thought anything of it like it was going to become a skate park.
Before the park was down there, we used to skate down there because it was a dry haven to get out of the rain. And there's a part of the wall that's existing there now has actually always been there. It's a slanted wall, and we used to just go there and
and do wall rides and whatnot.
What people have to realize is back then in 1990, this sector of the city was just, I mean, abandoned.
The day that the first bank went down, I think I might have been busy on a date or something. But anyway, my buddy Brett and Osage and a couple other fellas, they put this little tiny bank, not more than 2 feet tall, up against that wall.
We were at this place called Crust Palace. It was years and years ago before Burnside was even started. I was with Jay Graham, Brett Taylor, and a couple other cats, and there were some bags of concrete in this garage, and we're like, let's go down there. We're drinking 40s, whatnot. And we're like, okay, cool. It was cold. It was you know, icy. We hopped in Brett's Jeep, popped like 6 bags in there, went down to Burnside, and mixed up the concrete and threw it up on the walls. And next thing you know, we had like, you know, like a big bank up against the wall. We swept underneath the bridge. There was nothing underneath the bridge but a bunch of like, you know, heroin needles and, you know, a bunch of bums hanging all around.
There was a lot of people living in the abandoned building there. So it was really dirty and nasty and just really disgusting, and so they were just like perfect spot.
The next day or two, I went down there. I was kind of bummed that I missed out on it. I was like, oh man. And then we skated, and it was great. And you know, we had 2 kinks in it, one at the bottom, one at the top. But we just rode the hell out of it. In the beginning, we used primarily just bags of concrete. Mark and Kent both were working at Par, and they were kicking holes in bags and creating buck bags.
Mark would just be like, you know what I mean? Edward Scissorhands on these bags and just cut them all up. And then like, you know, 2 days later, you come back like, well, I'm going to buy these bags. You know, he come drop like, you know, $40 and get 40 bags of concrete.
Breaking bags open and pouring water on them and hand mixing them right there on the ground. First couple of years were full renegade style, and there was always that risk that it'd be taken away from us.
The park was starting illegally, and then the city figured it out after a while, but by the time they caught on what, you know, was going on, they realized we were cleaning up, you know, kicking all that dirt out of there. So then they ended up giving us, you know, that amount of square feet that it is right now.
Because the businesses kind of noticed it and liked it, the city government also sort of, well, they just allowed it to happen.
as Mark Scott took over the park kind of and played the foreman role and just killed it. He had a relationship with Ross Island Gravel Company.
He was there the